hurts. It's pressure as I start to curse. Feels like this isn't the first, or maybe it's worse. In my mind feels like the ribs are touching. The baby's crying and I can't conceal nothing. Feeling like I'm about to reveal something about my spirit or my soul inside. But that's just a moment in time. Whether it's high tide around the I-95, I gotta ride. I made it reverse from what it ain't to what it is. All of it's biz, simplified to make the finances big.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab. We're back with another episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. I'm joined by my good friend Manuel, Manny for short, Manny Cartoon Studio. How you doing today, Manny?
Hey buddy, how's it going?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to spend with me and kind of get the Clinkers to know you a little bit better. You have a brief and short career with the Clink Room. Nothing wrong with that. You had one design come up and that hit production, which is awesome. And then that's kind of where I met you and we linked up. We'll get a little bit more into that story as we go. But before we kind of get into the festivities, let's get a brief background of you as an artist and kind of how you cross paths with the Clink Room. So tell a little bit about yourself. What got you started into art first, and then we'll get into the Clink Room part later.
Art in general, just watching cartoons like every kid ever. I turned on, Saturday morning cartoons because that was the only time we got when we were kids, and I lost it. I just thought it was amazing and was fascinated by the cartoons and their designs and how everything kind of worked. And slowly started just specializing in character design stuff, so designing mascots and stuff like that over time for clients and t-shirts and whatever sort of stuff popped up for myself and things like that. And then in 2001, a buddy of mine, I was talking to him and I was checking out some hat stuff that he had done, and he turned me on to Clink Room, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna start submitting. So I submitted like 2 designs a week, I think, from January to I think I submitted this in like February, March. I didn't even have to go that far, and got into Critz and got this made, and figured, hey, this is probably going to be, I said it jokingly, but I said this might be my only shot. So I reached out to you because I'd been watching Views from the Vault. I reached out to you and started talking to you and a few other folks, and the rest is history, literally.
Mm-hmm. Time flies too. I think that's got to be going almost 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's 2021.
Yeah,
which is insane. Post pandemic, I was like, I had a bunch of nervous energy, and I was like, I need something that I can just do. And 2 mascots a week, I was like, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll always remember your week, your pre-order week, because I think that was the first time I also got introduced to Josh Vols. Josh is actually scheduled to be following you next week. He'll be spending some time. So, spoiler alert for people who watch the show, Josh will be on the show next week. But in terms of Clink Room, there's also a huge community aspect. We're talking about supporters and people involved with the design process. How do you normally incorporate feedback and ideas into your design work from the film?
I do a lot of sketching and resketching. When I was doing Clink Room regularly, I had a handful of guys that I trusted that I would show stuff to and be like, hey, does this make sense? Because I've never been a sports guy, so I was always looking for, I'd take some random kernel of an idea and I'd, throw it on paper and talk to people and say, hey, and whatever, and see what was happening. After I'd been submitting regularly to Clink for a while, and I saw that Casey liked and commented a few of my pieces, I would DM him every once in a while and be like, hey, does this make sense? Do you like this? And I think he like art directed me a little bit on like one or two of my submissions. And generally that's what it was. Like when I was doing the Clink Room stuff, I didn't know anybody. Like I would DM an artist if I liked them, if I liked their work, that I saw their stuff on Clink, but sometimes they wouldn't write back, and sometimes they would. It's not that they're whatever mean or standoffish, but we're all scared nerds. Like most of us don't like talking to people, so when they would reach back out, I'd be like, hey, and start a dialogue. You know, but yeah, that's what it was early days. Like I didn't know. So I would just, talk to them, and I'd talk to my buddy who mentioned Clink in the first place, and that was it.
Yeah. So you come from like a varied background. So you've done some work with manufacturing toys. You have an art background. Different product. You've put out pins. And
I've done everything from tiny pins to food trucks to T-shirts to I mean, I think that's about as big as I've gotten, but that was a fucking Winnebago. That was huge. So all kinds of stuff, size-wise, plush characters, all kinds of stuff. And what it tends to happen is, even though my stuff is very sort of 2D visually, I am pretty good about thinking in 3D. So, the designs translate. So when I started recently messing around with the 3D stuff, I was able to take my little 2D sensibilities and come up with, what the front, back, and sides of the thing look like, and whatever. Awesome. So, that's been fun.
In terms of like the hat as a canvas, what would you say are some of the most challenging aspects of, applying your art to the hat?
Clean lines, understanding what they're looking for from a manufacturing standpoint. They're looking for big areas, not to get super technical, I guess, with it, but like big areas of, I can't figure out what the freaking camera is. There we go. Big areas. If you'll notice, like the lines for the greens don't touch. I'm not separating them. I put enough of a line there that needs to be there, but that big open area of color means that if it's big enough, they can put a piece of the foam back there to make it pop out. And that's kind of what Clink is known for, is like the big puffy 3D embroidered patches that you need big spaces of color. So like early on, when I submitted this design, which is the design that made it through, they actually took my work and opened up closed off spaces that I had. So that's something that you have to understand as a designer. Like if you've got a ton of tiny details in there, no one's going to see it. It's not going to matter.
Yeah.
Big open spaces of color. That's what pops on the hat.
Many artists, kind of look up to different artists. Do you have any favorite clinkers out there, favorite people in the industry that you kind of look up to?
I mean,
as inspiration?
Ink Park, just like everybody else, know. And Aurelian, is that how you pronounce his name?
Aurelian, yep, out of France.
His stuff was always fantastic, like super cartoony, but really tight and really interesting and really cool. Like his stuff in particular was always like, okay, so I'm a weirdo. I would look at art and being done in a space and say, okay, what's being accepted? And if I'd see something that I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can fit in here. And he's one of the guys that I saw his work on Crit, and I was like, okay, I can live here for a minute. So his work in particular, But a bunch of the guys who were releasing hats around the time that I was doing stuff, like that community of artists, barring a few weirdo outliers, they were doing similar but interesting but unique work.
Mm-hmm.
So it made sense. Like the stuff that I've seen in Critz recently is different. The cartoony stuff, when it comes up, it doesn't make it through the voting. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine. Like I'm gonna keep doing me and let other people, flourish. So that's generally like what I've seen, because I do every once in a while I'll pop over to the voting just to see what's going on, and and I'll see like a cool like cartoony piece and just it's absolutely getting massacred. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, all right, it's good. Let's go.
That's always a tough thing, right? Like kind of balancing like your artistic style along with what you like versus the requirements of creating something that has like a broader like appeal or a broader audience and stuff like that. So there's always that kind of.
And I'm good with changing things up and doing certain things and whatever. But the older I get, the more I'm like, I could change what I do, or I could find a place where my work makes sense and fits.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like changing what I do or doing like lettering stuff for people or whatever, I just find a different spot. I find a different fishing spot. Like I'm good. I'm fine. I don't. There are artists out there who were born to make hat designs, who their passion is the hat. My passion is the character. Wherever I can make that thing, if it's pins or toys or hats or t-shirts or whatever, I'll do that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what led us to kind of work together with some of our shared projects with the Capologists. I think you were really eager to get your work and your style out there, and the timing was right. I think we put together a couple amazing projects.
But that's one of the ones that I bring around because I think that one with the metallic threading and all this turned out like so tasty.
Yeah,
so tasty.
Are there any specific themes or concepts that you wish you had a chance to kind of explore in the future, whether it be for hats or specifically with the Clink Room or even anywhere else?
I'm still sad and will always be sad that my little main dude never ended up on a hat. And I know Tony wanted to put it on a hat, and I know we were talking about it. And I think if the market ever opens back up, I think we could definitely do that and a few other things. I like food hats just because nobody else likes food hats, and I love making you like my food hats. So I'm always throwing that at you. And like I always like the sort of vintagey, classic sort of stuff, but like not making it overt, but like not making it the exact character, but doing something that is gonna give somebody like memories and is gonna hit that nostalgia button. Is always fun for me.
It's not so much that I don't like food hats. It's just like I maybe I'm too self conscious to want to wear it around. Like it's like, all right,
I
buddy.
okay, you know, I know, as a fellow bigman,
Yeah.
it's weird,
Hmm.
but like we made some shit like
Yeah, we did.
this is a banger.
Yeah.
This is a legitimate banger, and this is one of the few food hats that I don't care. Like I wear this and people just love it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that I'd wear one with like a big pink donut on it or like, you know, sugary stuff,
Yeah.
but like the ramen in particular is like the ramen is like one of my favorites. Both drops versions of it are absolute bangers.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thanks for doing that with me. Now we'll cover what we came here to cover, basically these Sundays with
Yeah.
the Clink Room festivities. So first things first, they did a Instaship drop on Tuesday. So what that means is for this particular drop is it's pretty much leftovers from the pre-order. So if they didn't have any shipping issues, whatever. So these are extremely limited in quantities and sizes. So some of them won't even have full size runs. So let's kind of cover what they released. So basically, these will ship right away. So you don't have to wait the pre-order time. So we got
That's
Clinkfoot
cool.
by Ryan and Raphael, Smiles and Cries by 40, Old Souls, and Lady Nocturnal. Any of these four kind of catch your eye?
Um, I've never been a sneakerhead, but that Old Souls is really hitting for me.
Mm-hmm.
The Clinkfoot I love just because I always dug when people leaned into the gorilla thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the collectors maybe got tired of it, but I dug it. And I saw a picture of somebody wearing that Lady Nocturnals,
Mm-hmm.
and that colorway just fucking kills.
Yeah.
I really it's I don't know that of all of these I probably it's weird to say, but I'd probably rock that one
Okay.
because I love that I love those colors, and I really like the art. It's not cartoony and it doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's really well done. It's really interesting and it speaks to me.
Yeah. I believe you pronounce it Kitsune. So that's like the cat mask, and then
Yeah,
the Hanya mask. So 40 has a TJ always has like a big Japanese influence from spending time living over
yeah.
there.
His stuff was really good. I was always like sort of in awe of his like we were talking like the chunky shapes and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
he'd do these real dynamic poses, like people like would have their foot like one foot in front of the other, so it wasn't just like the standing regular shit that a lot of us artists tend to do.
Yeah.
And when he'd do the slipper, the wooden shoe block, it was always like really dynamic and it felt like it was coming off. His stuff was also really cool. I like the design. I think it's cool, but yeah, you know, he was always a real consistent
Yeah,
artist.
for sure. And speaking of poses, like the Clinkfoot one is like that classic uh, Bigfoot, pose from like the
Yeah, the
60s when they caught him.
yeah from
But
that one from that classic video,
yeah,
you know, with the swinging arms and stuff. It's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's funny after all this time we've got like a second. They're saying it's a hoax, but in Colorado, did you see that video where they caught?
I did, and somebody said that it's actually a train that's set up for that sort of stuff,
Oh,
where they have a dude sitting by the side, like sitting there so that you catch Bigfoot.
yeah. Okay, okay,
It's actually like part of a whole thing. So that's
okay.
what I thought was really funny.
Fair enough. So, the legend of Sasquatch and the Yeti survives. But yeah, I think these
Yeah,
are all good offerings for sure. Um,
yeah.
let's see what else they dropped. So we got Maple Beavers, Yeast Mode, Clink Creep, and Reflections. Anything here stick out to you?
I'm always a sucker that creep is very sort of rat fink, and I'm always a sucker for that.
Mm-hmm.
That Maple Beavers is real nice.
Yeah.
That Maple Beavers is really nice. Like lots of nice detail. Yeah, those are the two that really. The reflections is nice. I think that's Santa Claus in the reflection there. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love the detail of the horns in yeast mode, but the two I guess that speak that like really pop to me are the Maple Beavers and that Clink Creep.
Yeah. The reflections reminds me of that scene in Home Alone when Kevin
Yeah,
catches I guess there were the wet bandits in that movie, the wet bandits in the reflection.
yeah.
But it's funny. So your I guess your taste in hats is very similar to mine because I picked up 3 from this drop, and they are the exact 3 that you focused on. So 40s,
Nice.
um, 40s hat, Ephra's,
It's beautiful.
and then
And that
by law,
that like lime green under on
yeah,
that creep is really nice.
yeah, and then by Canadian law and decree, I must get
Yeah,
the beaver. So
dude, I'm watching Shorzy, season 2. So good, so good.
yeah, so that's funny. So we're in
No, I
sync.
love it. I
So,
love
and
it.
I did
I
not
love
show
it.
you those before. I just showed you.
No, 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 no.
So,
I'm easy.
all right. So now we'll get into last call. So these are a reminder. If you're watching this live on Sunday, it's about noonish Eastern. You have till midnight. Last call for these 6 designs before they hit production. So this is the wrap for the Halloween pre-order. So Ghoulish Gourd, Freaking the Sheets, and Self Made. What are your initial thoughts here, seeing these?
I'm a sucker for Halloween. They're
Yeah.
all really nice. Um,
So Freaking
I'm
the
not a.
Sheets has
I
a glow in the
I
dark.
love that design.
Yeah.
Oh, it glows in the dark too.
So it glows in the dark and then it turns more mean, basically. So
Oh,
if
that's
you can
cool.
see,
That's a neat effect.
yeah, so you can see real close, like basically his like torso area is like a mouth, and it just becomes
Oh, I
really
see that.
angry. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I see
becomes
the
really
white
angry.
hit. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. You know what? I was gonna call it out because I'm not a big fan of the single color with the top and the top and the brim being one color, but I think it being glow in the dark makes more sense an all black hat because it's really gonna pop on there.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly no notes on any of these guys. Like we've got some dimension going on in Ghoulish Gourds. They managed like a little bit of dimension in the mouth, which really hits. And there's great like lighting going on in Self Made, and I really love that Ghoulish the Freak in the Sheets. All 3 of them I think are tight, and that what I'm gonna say is like a teal going on in the under on the Freak in the Sheets. That's tight. That's pretty. That's just nice.
It's almost like the
That's
glow
just
in the dark
nice.
tinge, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
And I think teal is something that you don't see a lot of, and people get whatever, and people get whatever. It's too if it's too fashiony or I don't give a shit. I think it looks tight. It goes with the design. It makes everything pop. Yeah, no notes, honestly.
yeah. If I'm remembering correctly, I think Ghoulish Gourd originally his hands were a little bit more spread, so there was more negative space. And then when they brought it in for pre-order, they almost brought it into the
Yeah,
main part to kind of give it one unit look. So that's cool. Yeah, I think these are all excellent. One thing, I, in hindsight, I would probably look to make the dark parts in self-made a little bit more dark. Right now, they're
hmm
appearing as like kind of like a brown color, but other than that,
yeah,
I think these are all good.
yeah. It's like a sort of a chocolate color.
Yeah,
You want a sort of a stronger look stronger look there. And if you'd gone with maybe a stronger color for the shadow for that eyes and mouth, you could have even gone with like a yellow for the eyes, like a bright yellow, because that I think would have made it pop and would have looked like a candle flame almost,
Yeah.
with like a yellow, which I think is the slightest missed opportunity, because to me it's not a jack-o'-lantern without the fact that it has a candle somewhere, but that's really it. Like, the
Yeah,
only comment.
that's like nitpicking.
Yeah, that's like wanting to find something.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, they're both tight as hell.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the other three. So we got bite-sized, Frankie's Stein, and Malibu. Where do you sit on the pun hat thing? So some people like puns, some people don't like puns.
We made a hat called Ramin. Where do I sit on the puns?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I mean, not everyone knows that. So
I'm a pun guy. I like a pun. I think it rings. I'm a sucker for somebody who spent a minute to really figure out a name, to make that click for the viewer. I think that means something. The bite size brings back all the nostalgic memories of the cheap plastic teeth.
Yep.
Like, I love that. That was like all over the place. The sort of funky 60s vibe from Malibu is really fun, with the striped board shorts and the very sort of Scooby Ghost style
I was gonna
thing with the
say,
surfboard.
he looks like he's like a villain from Scooby Doo.
Yeah, that's real nice. And there's some great color blocking with the in Frankie's Stein. I feel more strongly about not wearing beer hats than I do about not wearing food hats. Like we were saying before, there's some food hats that you and I can't get away with. Like, we would feel weirdly uncomfortable about it. I feel kind of the same way about like beer hats, just because I don't do a lot of drinking and I don't need somebody walking up and like, you gotta love that beer. Whatever. But the art is really well done. Like, the foam looks awesome. I was saying, like, the color blocking, which is like light to dark on his like cheeks, like there's a really nice highlight. Something that you can do in hats is that you need like the clean lines that we were talking about, and this has a lot of stuff going for it, and I think that there's definitely an audience for it. So I'm sure it did really well. I'm sure they all did really well in the pre-orders. I would have liked to have seen the bite-sized in glow in the dark too, but not everything can be, I guess.
I'm not sure if it does. It might, because the original toys glowed in the dark, right? Like
some of them did. Some of them did, yeah.
So
which was just a sign of how crazy stupid and stuff we were as kids, that we were putting
in your mouth,
blowing plastic shit in our mouths.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you survived to live this long, so. All great offerings. Like Halloween is like, I think, the hat collector's biggest holiday, I would say. Like, you don't see a lot of like, Thanksgiving stuff or Easter stuff. You see some St. Patrick's Day, but
we've done some Christmas stuff, you and I, and and it's always weird, and I picture a lot of guys like trying to rock like a Christmas hat to like the family party or whatever, and the wife's like, stop it, put your hair nice. So it's like a mixed bag of whether or not we can get away with wearing something like that, but Halloween is like, it's a chance to show some flair and to show some fun. So I definitely think that's a cool.
Exactly. All right, so now let's get into the Monday Morning Critz section. So these were all submitted for Monday Morning Critz. So first off, we see 65 bold. Frankly, shocking. What are your initial thoughts there?
Nice. So if I'm not mistaken, Casey and the guys haven't touched these, right? These are just what was submitted by the artist.
No. These are what's going up for crits. So Casey's team has picked these to go.
Picked them, but not edited them for pre-order.
Correct. Yeah. So
Right.
these will go under the voting on Monday,
Right.
van voting, and then some of them may or may not make it to pre-order. Once
Gotcha.
they make it to pre-order, Casey will like redraw them and potentially change the colors and touch them up and stuff.
The reason I'm making sure I got everything. This has a little too much detail going on and not enough sort of big areas of color.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see if it makes it through, because I think it's a really good looking design, what the final would be. You know, how Casey and the team would open it up essentially so that they can get those big areas in there for the foam to make it do what Clink does, which is the big pop off the hat look. But as a rendering, I freaking love it. I think it's clean as hell. I love the hard shadows that we were talking about in the other one, like lacking the hard shadows. This has it. My main thing is that it's got too much detail, too much small details. But I think it's a really strong design.
Yeah, it's like I guess my thing with it is like the face is super lit and super shadowy, but the rest of it kind of isn't. So it's almost as if like it's two different things kind of put together. It's drawn real well. It's almost not enough because it goes like green to black to white. So I don't know if it needs that specifically, but I get it. You know, sometimes you see like a big flash with the Frankenstein and stuff like that. So maybe that's what he's going for, but it kind of loses it a bit for me. So like when you just
I wouldn't mind the glass dome being in sort of a middle tone lime green instead of the blue. Just because I think it's the only place that we're seeing that blue. It would unify the design a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe, but
yeah, because it's almost completely transparent where the head is, but not where the background is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so
I still think it's drawn well. There's just like a little couple details to kind of bring. I mean, that's a tough look to go for. You know, transparent glass.
Yep.
But yeah, all in all, great work. 6'5". Let's see what else. Triple Crown, Clinker Leaf. So I don't know how up you are on your baseball, but this is a baseball term. Term. Triple Crown.
It's I've heard the term before. I love that each one of the kings has what they call a bit of business going on. So the sunglasses on one, the gum on the other. The metal really pops. I love the home base shape.
Yep.
And it's tight as hell. They're taking advantage of something that we can't do in a ton of things, but that we're encouraged to do, and especially in embroidery, is that not all detail has to be in black. You know, I get that it's like that on playing cards with the blue, like they did on the faces, but the fact that it is, I think, really sets it apart. I think that looks really, really nice. The detail of all the detail in the faces is that blue color. I would have liked to have seen it done a little bit more in some other spots, to be honest with you, like in the fingers, like the finger separations. It doesn't make any sense that if all the detail, like the separations in the beard and everything else, are done in that blue, why the finger separations wouldn't be done in that blue as well. But the sunglass, like the shine on everything, just really, really nice.
Yeah, I feel like he really nailed like capturing that baseball aspect of everything.
Yeah.
He did a great job with that. But yeah, now that you've brought up the blue in the face, but not the blue in the hands, kind of agree with you. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think overall this thing hits, man. It's so cool. It's
Yeah.
like he lifted the characters right from the cards.
And I
Um,
love the repetition of that blue on the brim, and then the button again. Although, as you and Tony taught me, the storytelling aspect could have been a pink button, but I know that some people don't like that or whatever. But I love the idea of the pink button because of the gum bubble that he's blowing. Would have
mhm.
been a nice repetition on the button
Yeah, yeah.
at the top.
Would you have made Would you have made them? I mean, I guess it wouldn't really matter too much, but like, would you made them off suited? Maybe two of them are like heart and diamond, and the other one is like a spade or something to make reference to
Yeah, it's a
that.
little
Or
weird that he's a star instead of like, yeah, now that you brought it up, it would have been a little bit more make more sense to maybe at least hide the suit in the shine of the crown. Like one of them has, just an extra added detail. Like one
a
is
heart jewel or
diamonds.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, something, heart jewel, the diamond, and a spade maybe or something like that would have been nice. The star, I guess, like makes less sense. Like it should have been a suit. If you're gonna put something there, make it a suit.
hmm
Um, yeah, yeah, you could have like hidden that somewhere, but again, like the rendering in the sunglasses, the little black on the cheek,
yeah,
the all the little bits of business are there. Um, I can honestly say I hope it makes it through crit, just to see what Casey and the boys do with it.
yeah. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. This is really good, man. The bubble is part of my. I think it's a tie between the sunglasses and the bubble gum. But yeah, I think Leaf nailed this.
Yeah, it's really cool looking.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at what else is coming. So money talks. We got Matt and Dick. Um, money talks. What do you think?
I like it, but I think it's a little muddy. I think I'm losing some of the detail, color wise. Um, it's not popping off the background the way I'd like. Um, the shoes are a nice touch. The fact that they didn't do the outlines on the white parts and the red parts are always a nice idea, a smart idea. Um, I need to see maybe a thicker outline around the hand so the hand pops away, like the hand holding the microphone. If you
Hmm.
do a thicker outline around that chunk, it'll stand forward from the bills, which the bills and the hat, the money and the hat needs to have a slightly thinner outline, and that will make it pop off more. I would almost see I would almost prefer to see this without legs, without the legs in the shoes. That is a stronger design. If it does not make it through crit, if it does not make it through crit, these guys should resubmit and just get rid of the legs. That is a stronger design. That is a bigger, chunkier, taller design that would make it through. If
Yeah.
this makes it through, fantastic. Shut up. I said nothing. I said nothing. Take everything I say with a giant grain of salt. But if this doesn't make it through and they resubmit without the legs, that's a better design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole thing is sometimes like you come up with like a name first, or you come up with a theme first and you stick to it too hard. Like money talks, like the thing goes like what money talks bullshit walks, or whatever. I just feel like he's like rapping, so he's not really talking. Maybe he may even be screaming. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think like the name doesn't really match the theme too much. If you were to take that out of it, it's like a weird character. You know, he's got like a huge chain, and then the glasses look kind of funny to me.
Yeah,
Wrapped
the
with a
sort of
wrapper.
the down, what they call down lid eyes, where your eyes are sort of half open.
Mm-hmm.
something there's not not right. But if they get rid of the legs, make the character bigger, and sort of reassess some little details, or make it bigger so that we can see a little bit better, or they opened his mouth up a little bit so it's really like an old school hair metal frontman scream, like a ha, where
Yeah,
the mouth's
yeah,
open and the tongue's hanging out. That's a money screaming thing, which really pushes that money talks sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. All right, moving forward. See what else was up. Dark Spirits
Ooh.
Studio harkens back to what you're wearing a little bit with the poison bottle almost.
Yeah, I like it. Awesome shapes, minimalistic. You're not trying to get in 1,000 details. Um, I love that you get the hand holding the bottle, and the hand leads you to the face, and then the shine leads you down to the coat, which there's the green shine on that tail of the coat, which leads you back up to the bottle, and you're going in a circle. You're going in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Great design.
Yeah,
Actual design. That is actual design. Well done.
yeah, yeah. You did a
You
great
see what I'm
job.
saying?
Yeah, because like you don't know what to look at. That's what's like
Yeah.
a. It's kind of
And
like a
it
holistic.
keeps, yeah, it keeps taking you in a circle. Um, oh shit! You know what it is?
What? What?
It's a D.
A D, right? Yeah.
It's a D. Okay. Like, yes. God, I hope this makes it through. That's lovely. Well done.
Yeah,
It's a D.
I can't stop looking at the bottle. The bottle's like a cool piece too.
Yeah. All of it is.
It's got like
So
a hidden
well
skull in
done.
it and everything. Yeah, great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Dino Rider by Verdun Designs. What's your initial thoughts here? This one's kind of fun.
Um, really fun concept. Way too many thin lines.
Mm-hmm.
Way too many thin lines. The tip of that tail dies. Um, like way too many thin lines. Like go back and like take it back into your program and chunky it up and get rid of some of those details and study what's made it through, and like the face, shield, the just all those thin lines need to go. There are better, easier ways to denote the different pieces of armor and stuff. It's a really fun concept. It needs to be. I think it's too thin. I think the line work is too thin.
Yeah, like you can see it. Like so, every line towards the edge is super thick, but any inner line is super thin.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can definitely get what you're saying there. It is so random though, like a knight
Uh,
riding. Uh,
there's a. I think there's an old video game, like an old arcade game, that was I want to say either Knights on dinosaurs or Knights on ostriches, like legitimately. I think Joust was, they're either on ostriches or on dinosaurs, similar
okay.
shaped dinosaurs. Um, but yeah, like it's random as hell, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't hate the concept, definitely, and I think you're closer than you think, but yeah, the lines are way too thin.
The green is so random. It almost doesn't fit the hat because you got gray, pink, and then just a blotch of
Yep.
oozy green. So I'd probably rethink that
Yeah.
potentially. But yeah, not
Yep.
bad. Freaky Tiki by
Nice.
Clinker Jake. This is probably like a Class A felony in most states, so we would not advise you to do that. But Freaky Tiki, what are your initial thoughts here?
Good line work, good color. Um, the flowers are kind of tacked on, but they work for what it is.
I think his original submission had like sensor boxes.
Oh, had sensor bars. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The flowers are, I think, a little new. It's an interesting way for someone to show someone three flowers, but yeah.
You know what? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I love them. I love the colors.
It's a really random pose. It's almost like
It's very
he's
sort of rat
punched
pinky,
for yeah.
which I like. But no, I actually really like it. Um, I like it.
Okay.
How do you like? You were saying that it's a resubmission.
Not even like a resubmission. I just think it's like a rework. Like maybe he just reworked the original. I think the original one had sensor bars
Yeah,
if I'm remembering correctly.
you are correct. It had a mix of the colors that he's using in the thing, and he had flowers inside of his jacket.
Mm.
I had to look it up. I had to look it up. So yeah, I dig him. I've been following this kid for a minute, and I like the stuff that he's doing. It's real playful. It's real fun, and this is no different. This has a very sort of like groovy look to it. I dig it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move forward. Batshit crazy. Clinker Matt Bell. What do you think?
I really like this. I don't know why. I really like this. I like the blue eyes. I love the mutagen green slime
He does look
mouth.
crazy. He did
It's
achieve that.
yeah. Yeah, there's a different version to be done of this same thing, like a crazy looking bat, but I like this. It's not taking itself too seriously. It's got nice open colors. This is going to embroider beautifully. Like this is going to look tight. Big open spaces. There's like a nice big space for his nose to get a piece of foam. Um, it's a tight, like no frills, well done, well lit. It's not bare bones. It's just been designed well so that it doesn't have a bunch of extra details. Like this is that in embroidery is gonna look gorgeous. And I'm a sucker for those colors.
Yeah.
Like that 90s like blue with the slime green double dare sort of thing. They did the green button, which they didn't have to do, but I think is, like we said before, a nice little touch of storytelling. You know, yeah, I like that a lot.
These bats are just so damn ugly in real life. I think he did
They
a great
are.
job
They're
capturing.
awesome looking. They're so weird. Some of
Yeah.
them look like tiny foxes, and
Yeah. He did a
you
great
know,
job.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
the only thing I would maybe change, and this is probably nitpicking, but that like red spot underneath the tongue, like
Yeah,
I don't know.
the extra red spot maybe doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, or maybe just change it to a different tinge, like a darker tinge of red, maybe. But
Yeah,
that's
the shadow.
severely nitpicking.
Yeah.
I think this is great. Um, I like it a lot,
Hmm.
and anatomically correct too. So with the two fangs in the front and then the incisors at the side, I just checked. That's what they look like. So you did a
Nice.
great job.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see what else.
No, for sure.
La Katrina by Clinker Wind Studio. What do you think here?
I think it's cool. I like Day of the Dead stuff. Um, I don't know how well it'll pop. Um, I always stay away from putting lines around a woman's mouth. Break them up or do like little pieces, like it's a tooth, like top and bottom, but don't do the lines because it makes them look old. And that's always a weird sort of aesthetic thing. Maybe if the flowers were a brighter color. I don't know. It's not really. I'm not really flowing with it for some reason. I think the neck thing is doing something weird.
Yeah.
Like her neck, it looks like she's wearing like a turtleneck or something. Like that's kind of a weird sort of little piece of shape. Like that's weird. Like just finish off the hair. Bring the hair over. Like don't show her neck. Do something. But that's a weird little thing going on. I think it's a nice sort of overall shape. I think it works well as a unit, but I think there's a lot of little details in there that I'm not in love with. But I think I've seen some of the photos of some other Day of the Dead hats that have embroidered nicely, so I'm sure it'll look nice if it goes through, but I'm not in love with the details on this.
Yeah. My issue with this hat is I don't know if you're familiar with the Rocky Mountain Vibes. So they had a Copa edition hat called the Loronas, and it is pretty spot on to this, down to the colorway. So there's a little bit more dead. So the piece on the head instead of a spider web was like a little bit floral, and it didn't have exact eyes, but it's pretty close to it. It reminds me of that, and they're a team that doesn't exist anymore, so I don't even think there would be anyone to contest it anyway. But it just reminds me a lot of that original one. What I'd love to see him try to do is in like a different colorway, so it's not so close to the other version of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
all in all, not bad.
Go full tilt and go serape under or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Something a little bit more colorful.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at. So we got Sierra Gons and Low Tide coming with the B-boy stance. Another high level pun here. What are your initial thoughts?
Too many details. Again, too many details. I love that face. I love the wings. I love the crossed arms. I love it. But you're blocking off too many shapes. Like something's gonna get lost. And it's what you guys used to call a design that would die in the crease, because it's not as wide as it could be. Like if he went and like spread his legs a little bit more, or did a little something different, or something, so that it's more like an A shape.
Yeah,
maybe that would be better. But right now he's kind of thin and in the middle. Does that make sense? But I love it a lot at the same time. Like, this is my aesthetic. I cannot complain when cartoony hats don't make it through, because this is definitely my aesthetic. But, I don't know. Maybe spread the legs a little bit, to be honest with you, just so that it sits bigger on the hat.
Yeah. I really I like this one a lot. I think here the outline doesn't help it being in yellow, because there's so much yellow in it. So it's almost like working against it. Maybe you can repurpose that into like a shadow potentially, or maybe shift his posture a little bit so you just get a little bit more horizontal. But I mean, if that's the B-boy stance, that's the B-boy stance, right? So
it is, though. It is that. And they would be like back, like the classic is the two guys back to back with the arms crossed and whatever. I want to see more meat on it somehow. Like, it's a really tall design, and I want more horizontal. But I'm pulling at strings at this point.
Could you do that by giving him 4 feet?
Yeah, you could do that with 4 feet. You could do that with a simple, just a wider stance, like slightly longer bowed out legs, so that the feet still sit on the same level that they're at now. I'm not saying like longer legs because that's going to make them smaller, but bow them out a little bit so you get more of that A stance. But I wouldn't change much.
Yeah.
I worry about all the little details in there, though. There's a lot of little details. There's a lot of line work that might not necessarily have to be in there. The closed, okay, so the little closed spaces inside, and this is super technical, the little closed spaces inside the chain don't have to close all the way. Like if you leave them open, that's more room for embroidery, and that gives you that open space. So if you made the chain chunkier and didn't close the links all the way, that actually works to your benefit and reads as detail, but it gives it more room to pop.
Yeah. There's a slight issue too where there's just like a lot of yellow and gold put together. Maybe even flipping the chain to white gold or silver, you could get a little bit more separation there. But
do it in metallic. Do it in a metallic thread.
yeah,
So you get that diamondy blingy sort of thing.
yeah,
The big areas of metallic that we did on the Area 51, they rock. Like I think you used like metallic red thread and some silver in there and stuff, and it's the hat is from 2020, early 2022, I think, and they look beautiful.
yeah,
So it can be done.
yeah, definitely. All right, let's see what else. Hunter Moon by Flanagan. Oh, this one's cool.
Yeah, I gotta be careful what I say too because I know Flanagan, and this is a killer design by him. His stuff tends to be very pointy, and it's still very pointy, but he's grown a lot and he's keeping his shapes open. I worry about the shine on his shoulder touching the shadow, like they're too close.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's just like looking for stuff to complain about. I think it's a really solid design. I'm a sucker for a werewolf anything, and this looks really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would almost want him to like have one portion of his body really be close to you and then the other one more into the shadows. I think you can play more by sacrificing half his body's detail with getting extreme detail on the other half that's closer to you. I think that would be like a really cool effect. But yeah, I think he nailed it otherwise.
You can make the whole thing bigger if you cut him off at the waist and come up with like a torn something or like a torn element or something so that the whole thing, including the moon, but like the whole thing to his waist and all the way up to the moon sort of enclosed as a space. You could make the design bigger.
Yeah, but I think he nailed it.
Yeah.
Drawn real nice, real good here. Yeah.
And he's a guy that I've been following forever, and he's grown a lot. Like I remember his first couple of designs, always solid drawings, but always really weirdly pointy. Like the ends of his brush lines were like super harsh points, and I think he's still kind of doing that, but I think he's fallen into a style where that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, really angular, but really, really, really nice. Like the shadow, the completing the side of his face with just the simple black line, the highlight, and then going straight into the shadow on the face and the brown. That's some shit from somebody who's had a couple pieces produced, who's been submitting for a while, and who's learning from what he's doing and what he's seeing make it through. That's kind of the name of the game.
Yeah, he did a great job. He's also a guy that I think makes a licensed hats too, so he's kind of well versed. So yeah, shout out to Flanagan. I think this is he did a great job here. All right, and is that it? That's it.
That's it.
That's it. We did it.
It's a
We
big
made it
list,
to the
though.
end. Yeah. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's 10. Well, shout out to you for making it this far and kind of stepping in last minute.
Always, bro.
To do this with me. I'm glad that we gave the people a chance to kind of get to know you a little bit better, despite you only having one hat with Clink, but you've produced many other hats in the past. So I'd love to give you
lots of hats in the past, and lots of other stuff. And the old timers still hit me up every once in a while just to say hey. And like J Trouble still wears this buddy every once in a while, and I think a couple that he got from Capologists. So he hits me up, and I talk to a handful of the folks and stuff, and I'll pop in every once in a while. And when I remember, I always look at the Monday Morning Critz, like, hey, what's going on? What's popular?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. But yeah, so hopefully people give you a follow. Manny Cartoon Studio is your Instagram, and keep an eye out for Manny and some future projects. But for Manny and Leon, we're signing out, guys. We're out of here. Peace.
The finance is big, unscrupulous figs and threats and folks try to renege. I'm not built to lose, the alternatives have been removed, and so I'm chasing a couple lanes so I can regroup. Sick and tired of jumping.